Good morning and welcome to Mornings on Main Street for this Monday, the 12th of June. I'm your host, Stefanie Miller. It was a fantastic weekend here at the Smyrna Airport for the Great Tennessee Air Show. You see the Blue Angels planes right behind me. Let me tell you, the crowd that gathered here, and there were thousands, got quite the show over the weekend. We'll bring you more from the Great Tennessee Air Show coming up a little bit later here on Mornings on Main Street. First off, today I do want to recognize that today being June 12th is Women Veterans Day, or also referred to as Women's Veterans Recognition Day. This is when those women, both veterans and active, are recognized for their service to our country and the branches that they served in. Coming up, we have a two-part segment for you with 4 veterans from the United States Army. All 4 ladies shared their story of why they decided to go into the Army, what they got from it, and some great advice for women who are looking to serve now. But first, let's get a check of our headlines this morning. Former Gallatin pastor and director of the Sumner County Food Bank, James Gill, was arrested after being indicted by the Sumner County grand jury. 81-year-old Gill served with the food bank for 14 years and is charged with felony theft over $250,000, financial transaction from felony theft, and then 2 counts of prostitution patron. Follow more on this developing story by going to GallatinNews.com. And July 15th is the grand opening celebration. It's happening on a Saturday for F&M Bank Arena and the Ford Ice Center in Clarksville. The grand opening celebration is set to be an interactive experience for all ages going out, and they encourage everyone to attend. The celebration starts with a ribbon cutting there on 2nd and College Street at 11 o'clock in the morning, and it will run through about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You can read through the highlights of the celebration by going to mainstreetclarksville.com. Also looking this morning, Murfreesboro Little Theater is scheduled to participate in the 2023 Rogue Theater Festival in New York. This is happening tomorrow. The theater will produce The House Is Not a Home by the playwright Kyle Thomas of Shelbyville. Learn more about the play and where you can get information on the upcoming performances by Murfreesboro Little Theater by going to murfreesboropost.com. It's going to be a beautiful week this week. Let's check in with Tennessee Valley weather to see what the forecast has in store for all of us.
Happy Monday to you. Ben Luna here with you in the Tennessee Valley Weather Center. As we head through today, I think we're going to be looking pretty good across the mid-state. I'm going to maintain a chance for a few showers mainly to our south. As we look ahead through this afternoon, most of the region will be dry under just a mix of clouds and sunshine. Tomorrow, though, unfortunately, a different story. Futurecast showing us with a balance of clouds and sunshine today. But notice as we look ahead into Tuesday, you're going to see some development back over toward the Mississippi River. That's going to be shower activity that skirts across the region for tomorrow. So the breakdown for today, I think the mid-state's going to be largely dry. I'm going to maintain a small chance for a few spotty showers off to the south, though. Around 79 for the regional average high. Back in the 80s tomorrow. Showers again crossing the area as we head through the mainly morning to midday time frame. And then Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday back to more traditional summertime weather of seeing scattered thunderstorms here for the rest of the week. That is a check on your forecast for this Monday. Thank you for watching. I'll leave you with a final look at the outlook. Make it a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.
Welcome to the Omni Nashville Hotel. Urban elegance with a vintage touch. Our 800-room hotel opened up in the fall of 2013 with 746 guest rooms and 54 suites.
You can't see the sights without the sounds. From the crack of the bat to the roar of the crowd and everything in between, discover what Hit City has to offer. Spend your nights cheering on the Nashville Sounds at First Horizon Park with giveaways, fireworks shows, theme weekends, and more. Single game tickets are on sale now. Visit NashvilleSounds.com to claim your seat today.
They said I wouldn't make it without a college degree. They said only a man could be a roofing executive.
They said a former addict always relapses.
They said my amputation would keep me out of roofing.
They said never give an ex-convict a second chance.
They said I could never be a leader.
They said I couldn't support my family as a single mom.
At Rackley, we say they're wrong.
Want to change the world? Change it, one roof at a time.
Vote for Area 51 Tech Solutions for Best Computer and Electronic Repair in Main Street Awards Best of Dixon. Thank you for your vote.
Main Street Awards Best of Dixon. Vote for us in Best Burger, Best Dessert, Best Overall Restaurant, Best To Go, Best Dining Deal.
Well, this year will mark the 75th anniversary of an incredibly important legislation. Looking back in history, it was June 12th, 1948, that President Harry Truman signed into law the Women's Armed Services Integration Act. And what did that act do? Well, that gave women the ability and the chance to serve their country, to do what they wanted to do. And we have 4 veterans with us today, and I'm so proud to have each one of these ladies. So thank you so much. I'm going to introduce them and give the number of years of service, and then we're just going to open the conversation of what it was like to be a woman in the Army the past couple of decades. So first off, we have Monica Meeks right next to me. She spent 20 years in the Army. Next to her, Zoe Jackson, 21 years in the Army. Mary Ross after that with also 21 years of service. And Yolanda Williams, who you have met many times before. Friend of mine, she has 25 years of serving in the Army and serving this country. So again, ladies, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. So first off, if you'll start off for me, Monica, what was your title?
Well, in the military, I was very blessed. My last 3 years, I was Assistant Inspector General, but I started out as HR, 42 Alpha,
Wow.
Human Resource Specialist.
Zoe?
Started off as a 92 Fox, which is a petroleum supply specialist, and then I transitioned to being the Equal Opportunity Advisor.
Mary?
I started off as a radio operator and then transitioned into being a medic. I spent 7 years as a psychiatric specialist and then finished out my career as a combat medic.
Wow, and Yolanda, if you remind everyone.
Yes, so I started out as a combat photographer. I did 10 years as that MOS, and then I transitioned to a military intelligence officer, and I did my last 15 in military intelligence, and also rounded it out with division headquarters time here at Fort Campbell.
What was it like? What was it like being a female serving in the Army?
Oh, we have to breathe through that.
I think each one of us have a different perspective in reference to our experience of being in the military, but me being in a aviation unit, starting off as a fueler, I think the biggest obstacle of being a woman in that was kind of difficult because it was always proving yourself, always trying to find that right fit, always trying to ensure that you met the requirements, not only met them, but kind of exceeded them so that you could have your place or at least be seen. So I would say being in the military was caused me to be very aware of who I am and what I was able to do and what I brought to the table.
Is that the same feeling across the board?
That is one of the basic feelings, is that you always had to outperform.
Oof.
Yes.
Be twice as good.
Yeah, to be twice as good to be equal.
Right.
Yes. And you never actually reached the equal part.
Right.
Is that still the case? I mean, over 2 decades, I'm sure you saw some progression, but is that still the case today compared to 21, 25 years ago?
So as the last one to leave that regime, I would say yes. But I also retired in 2014. We did have a couple of our other younger sisters that I hope you get a chance to talk to later that served post my time that could confirm that. But I would say yes. Twice as hard to be recognized, period. and then it was still a struggle to be considered equal.
And when I joined, of course, I'm obviously the oldest one here, but yeah, I'm not mad at that. But I joined during the Women's Army Corps, and this was during the Vietnam era, or actually Vietnam hadn't closed yet, but there was actually open hostility towards women who were in the military, and especially if you had a non-traditional job. Now, if you were an Army nurse, or if you were a medic or corpsman at the hospital, that was okay. But if you were in a non-traditional role, then sometimes you faced open hostility. The men would actually accuse us of stealing their rank.
Wow.
When we got promoted.
That had to have taken a toll. How do you work through that? How do you work with that every day?
Tenacity.
Being confident in who you are. Being assured of your own capabilities and what you bring to the table. I think self-care would be a big one, to just mentally talk to yourself every now and then. Encourage yourself and remind yourself of who you are and where you been, or what you bring to the table and what you offer. I mean, if they won't do it, you got to do it yourself.
We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to continue to carry on this conversation, and also, how young women now, as they're joining, you don't really know who you are at that time, and how you evolve as a woman, as a leader in the military and the Army. So we're going to touch on that, and then what pushed you guys to want to serve your country, you ladies. So we're going to touch on that when we come back. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a couple minutes.
There's a lot to consider when it comes to choosing a Medicare plan. That's where Health Markets Insurance Agency can help. Independent licensed insurance agents who work with Health Markets can answer your questions about the different parts of Medicare, when you can enroll, benefits, costs, and more. Speak to a local licensed insurance agent today to get started on your Medicare journey.
I'm so excited about this new show.
When they're about 5 months old, we'll start seeing them sticking their head out of a pouch, or you might see a foot come out or a tail.
It's like an Airbnb for Joey's. Animals, nature, and fun. That's what we're all about. But during that time, we hope that you also learn something, that you're inspired to want to learn something.
What's new at the zoo with Jim Bartu.
Catch At the Zoo exclusively on Main Street Media TV. Check our on-screen TV guide for days and times.
Music City will be rocking June 23rd through the 25th with a different sound. The sound of NASCAR. The Ally 400 is back at Nashville Superspeedway, and this year, it's a night race. NASCAR in Nashville. It's guitars and fast cars under the lights. Visit NashvilleSuperspeedway.com to get your tickets today for the triple header weekend.
Main Street Awards Best of Dixon County is happening now. Please vote for Redbird Realty. We appreciate your support.
Vote for us Best Insurance in the Main Street Awards Best of Dixon voting. Micah Blount State Farm Insurance. Thank you for your vote.
Welcome back. This is an incredibly special day here on June 12th. In fact, it is the 75th anniversary of an important legislation. What was that legislation? Well, it was the Women's Armed Services Integration Act, and that is when women can start serving in their country, whether it be in the Army, the Navy, the Marine Corps, and then the Air Force. This morning we have with us Monica Meeks, we have Zoe Jackson, Mary Ross, and Yolanda Williams. Again, thank you ladies for sitting down with me for this on this day.
Thank you.
So carrying on the conversation of, when you get into the military, that was 21 years ago for two of you, 20 years ago for one, and then 25 years ago. You're young. You have young women looking to enlist now. You don't really know who you are at that point. How have you changed over the years from then to now? What have you learned, I guess, in the time of serving and playing the role that you did in the Army?
Well, for me, it's show up as yourself and they'll adjust. Like sometimes we feel like we have to minimize who we are to be accepted, and that's not the case at all. So I love all the new rules the ladies have with being able to wear their hair down, being able to wear earrings, because just because you choose profession that's dominated by men does not mean you're not still a woman. So I love the new changes.
I would say for me, I think acknowledging that you are a woman first. One of the things that I've shared with some of the young ROTC cadets and other people I've talked to, we get inundated to what the job is. I want to run as fast. I want to run as hard. I don't want to do, but you were born a woman, right? So, or whatever you identify at the time you join the military, but that's who you are. And then you become a soldier. You are not born a soldier. So we've lost, I think I did for several years, I lost that factor. I was too busy being a soldier, trying to be better than, to be considered equal to, and I lost a lot of that. So some of the womanly things that are important to us, self-care, relationships, children, things that are nurturing by nature, those are the things that you want to keep focus on.
And seek a mentor.
How did that work for you?
I didn't really have a mentor coming in. I would say my first 11 years, it wasn't prominent. It wasn't something that was pushed on a regular basis. But one of my platoon sergeants came to me and was like, me and you gonna have a discussion once a week, just me and you. And that's how I found out or accepted mentorship. But understanding what it was at first, or even acknowledging it at first, I didn't have that. I didn't have a clue. I didn't look for it. I wasn't really accepting of it, but it was almost mandatory in reference to, and she's passed on but I still reference that from her. She was once a week, me and you. And we got to talk about just being you, just understanding what you offer and what you bring, and you don't have to outdo them. You just have to do what it is that you're supposed to be doing, staying in your lane and understanding your lane. But it took her to kind of like walk me through what that looked like. Being a woman in the military, you're always trying to compare yourself, because that is the halo that you wear being in the military. Can you do what they do? Can you compete with them? Can you stand with them? Can you outdo them? So that is very prevalent. I think it's still there today, but I would encourage young women today, would get a mentor. Find someone that you could talk to and ask questions, and really just share your heart and what your thoughts are, and kind of get guidance.
I like that. Very nice. Mary, like you would want.
Well, I was going to say, I think that's false. That attitude of comparing yourself to others is fostered by the military environment itself, because we're competing for rank, we're competing for jobs, we're competing, and even though we have that camaraderie, it's still a competition. It's still a competition, and I think that in my case, because of the transition of all of going from the Women's Army Corps into an integrated service. The environment was just kind of like completely fluid. It was constantly changing, and depending upon where you were stationed, depending upon the command, it could either be wide open or it could be hell,
for lack of a better word.
I was trying to make it.
Different job sets also set that same precedence. Certain fields have a different level of, and as some people may know, like now women can be rangers, or now they can do some of those very specific MOSs that we're not open to women, even during our time, clearly. But whatever job field you chose, or whatever skill set you had, and if you were just by nature smarter than some of your peers,
she smiled with that.
yes, we were. If you were smarter, it made it more challenging. So.
Why, knowing what, I guess, obstacles or turbulence could lie ahead, why did you want to enlist?
For me personally, I was seeking something else. College was not for me, and I wanted to, and to be perfectly honest, I wanted to see the world and make some money. But I think very shortly after joining, the pride of being a part of something bigger than myself, being outside of St. Louis and just being a difference and seeing the change was why I stayed and kept re-enlisting and stayed as long as I did.
Mary?
Well, I by no means joined because of patriotism. I was raised in a really small town in West Tennessee where there were no opportunities for women. And I was not fitting in very well with the notion of graduating from high school, getting married, having 2 babies, and that wasn't working for me. So I was really looking for a way out. And the Army gave me a way out, and it gave me a whole lot of other things too. But one of the things that it did do for me as an 18-year-old coming into the Army and being exposed to all of that it can be, is that it gave me parameters. Parameters so that I could grow, but I could not go so far that I would hurt myself. Yes. I was not my mother's best child.
So Jackson, you're reason.
I would say, I don't know, my story is totally different. I came in already with married with a child. I had already graduated from college. I had already had what the notion is of having that picket fence, that house, that husband, and that child. But that rug got pulled from under me, and I was the first time at awe at what to do. And the only thing that was present real quick, I saw a sign and I went towards the sign.
Oh, wow.
So I really did not think. And then once I was in 9/11, it's just like, what was
What was I getting into? What was I thinking?
So mine was totally different. I mean, I was already established. I had already graduated. I was, like I said, married with my first son. So it was just the rug had snatched, and I had all these responsibilities, and all eyes was on me trying to understand what that looked like. How can I save face? And that sign came, and I faced it.
Okay. Well, for me, it was just a lack of financial opportunities. I grew up in a very small town. It's still small, Salemburg, North Carolina, population 400. So my uncles and my grandfather served, but none of the women served. So I turned 17, and I was like, okay, we can't afford college. My uncles, they drive really nice vehicles. I think you get paid a lot of money in the military. So I decided to join like my uncles and made a career out of it. So.
I think that time is short because we're just scratching the surface, and I hope I have the honor and the privilege to sit down with all 4 of you once again to talk about your time in your role serving in the Army. The last question, and I always like to get advice from those guests I have from someone else who might be watching, another either young active duty woman out there, someone contemplating whether it be after high school, college, or maybe that finds themselves in a position to where they do have to make a decision and pivot, might you say. What sort of advice could you give to a woman out there?
Take advantage of the tuition assistance. I got out of the military with a 4-year degree, certification. All of those things are free when you're wearing the uniform. And when you get out, there's costs associated with it. So anytime you can take a college class, take a college class. That's the best advice I have.
I would say don't be afraid. We are afraid of say that every day. Some people are afraid to cross the street. So don't be afraid. Just take the chance. When I joined the Army, it was be all that you could be. Be all that you can be, and you will be fine. I promise. Yes.
And go for the adventure.
Yeah.
I mean, coming from a small town in West Tennessee, it's like, wow, look at the world. Holy Moses, I didn't know this was the thing. But yeah, I mean, go for the adventure. There is more to life than where you are right now.
Yes.
And don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to experience. You know, the experience may not be good, but you will be a better person on the other side. On the other side. So
And I would say, find something to enjoy about it. Find something, enjoy it. I promise you will experience and see and grow and understand and reach heights that you never even thought you could if you look for it. So my biggest thing would find that one thing that you like about it and keep doing it until something attaches itself to you.
All of your responses really has me thinking of additional questions because I'm curious about those adventures, about what you have seen. But that is going to have to be a conversation for another day.
Vroom, vroom. Time for the Rackley Roofing 200, and it is going to be June 23rd out at the Nashville Super Speedway. And we partnered up, all of us here at Main Street Media TV, and we have joined with Rackley Roofing to send you. Yep, what you got to do to win? All you got to do is go to your favorite Main Street Media website, look for the Enter to Win banner, click there, and you're in. Like Flynn. Isn't that cool? Main Street Media TV and Rackley Roofing sending you to the races.
Tired of hanging lights every year? We get it. That's why Southern Nights is here to help. We install programmable lighting on your home or business so you can enjoy beautiful, customizable lighting all year round. No more ladders, tangled lights, or cold nights outside. We do the work, you do the celebrating. Call Southern Nights today and take the hassle out of holiday lighting forever. For a free quote, give us a call at 931-241-3074 or visit our Facebook page at Southern Nights.
Welcome back to Today's Better Health. I'm Colleen Barton, and I'm here with Dr. Gil Kentoff and Dr. Wendy Toohey, and we're talking about the latest treatments in back and neck pain.
Many people, Colleen, come to see us with neck and back pain, and they develop tingling and numbness down the arm or lower back pain that develops into sciatica shooting down their leg. And for these patients, we have an advanced treatment technology, non-surgical decompression therapy that we really introduced to this area. It separates the vertebrae and creates a suction to allow fluids and nutrients back in to heal the disc naturally, relieving pressure on the nerve and on the joint. It's an amazing treatment.
We've been helping patients like this for the last 30 years, helping them get back to work, get back to their family, get back to the life they want to live.
I mean, it really is amazing. Technology helping us to live pain-free and better lives.
Right.
And I bet you have a special offer.
The first 25 callers will receive an examination, x-rays, review of our findings, and their first treatment, all for $39.
Call 615-551-3897 today to receive this special offer.
Vote for us Best Burgers and Breakfast in the Main Street Awards Best of Dixon. We look forward to serving you. Thank you for your vote.
Please vote Pamela with First Lending Solutions, online best mortgage lender in Main Street Awards Best of Dixon County. Thank you for your vote.
Welcome back to a look back at the Great Tennessee Air Show. The Blue Angels showing off their flight skills, at times flying at 400 miles per hour. What a show. Here's a look at some of the thousands in attendance at the Smyrna Airport. Other events included flights by an F-22 Raptor, and Ace Maker T-33 and more. Let me say, all of the pilots were extraordinary. I sure hope you enjoyed that video of the Great Tennessee Air Show. Again, I have to say it was spectacular. Seeing the Blue Angels up there doing their thing. If you get a chance next year, be sure to get your tickets to the Great Tennessee Air Show that happened at Smyrna Airport. All right, guys, thanks so much for joining us here on this Monday morning. We hope you have a fantastic rest of the day, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.